Welcome along to the second of the NICC men's semi-finals here in the Hula Hoops Cup. We have UCD Marian playing against Leixlip Zalgiris. The winner will face UCC Demons, who won out against Dublin Lions in the first semi-final. I'm Conor Meany and I'm joined here in commentary by Pat Price. Welcome along, Pat.
Thanks, Conor. Great to be here.
This hopefully will be a little bit more of a competitive game. The first game was a bit of a blowout. Marian, of course, lost the final last year. That's a tough turnaround jump shot for Mark Ryan, but he gets it to start the game. Excellent start there for UCD Marian. Mark Ryan was one of the top players last year for Marian in this competition, and he'll certainly be one of the players that Marian are looking to today if they're going to get the win against what should be a very tough Leixlip Zalgiris team.
Sure, there's familiarity between the two teams. They faced off in the Dublin League with Marian winning out by 6 points, so there's familiarity. But I spoke prior to the game with Mazvidis Chepelauskas, and he had mentioned that they're also using it as a bit of motivation for this game.
Yeah, definitely. There's a nice finish inside again there by Mark Ryan. A nice offensive rebound. Yeah, Maz, the point guard here, who's bringing up the ball for Zalgiris, is the player coach. He would have been. He's a familiar face to some of the people who would have watched Dublin Inter playing in the Super League a couple of years ago. This Zalgiris team is pretty much the same team that lost the NICC final 2 years ago to Tralee. So they'll be hoping to get back to the final after missing out last year. Damlu Vikas, number 6. I absolutely butchered that name, but anyway. Was one of their big players 2 years ago when they were getting to that final, so he'll be certainly one to watch out for. And then, of course, Maz at the point guard is an excellent player as he pulls up for three. Doesn't get it, but an offensive rebound there. And a nice finish inside.
Idicus with the finish. Again, good body control as he got to the basket.
Yeah, there's some big bodies there on that Dublin Inter team. Nice take to the basket and a nice right-hand scoop finish.
Brendan Mullen going against the grain and still getting the ball off with an underhand right-handed scoop shot.
Yeah, really nice finish there by Brendan. Brendan's just joined Marian this year. He's a former Scottish under-20 international. He's over studying in UCD, so he's been a big addition to the team. Who, of course, lost Mike Chubb, who was their point guard last season. A nice finish inside, and it looks like we have a timeout coming for Zalgiris early on as UCD Marian race into a 6-2 lead. Welcome back after that timeout. The score is, of course, 8-2, not 6-2, as you said there. We'll see what Zalgiris come out with. Of course, they're called after one of the famous Lithuanian professional teams.
Homage, right? A tribute name to Zalgiris, a famous club in Kaunas, Lithuania, in the southern part of Lithuania.
They even have some of their crowd here today are wearing the Zalgiris jerseys. They have quite a crowd here. About 20 or 30 people have traveled up or traveled down to see the game. Shane Egan pushes the ball across. Mark Ryan at the elbow looks to attack. Tries to get a pass inside. He does. And again inside, a nice finish there by Patrick Nolan. Well, Jack as he goes by.
Nolan crafty with the left hand. Offensive foul here called. Mark McGetrick spotted the push-off correctly. And Marian regained possession here with some rhythm already at 10-2. 6:35 remaining in the first.
Jack is a tough inside player. He's a little undersized, but he's a fantastic rebounder. I think he lulls people into a false sense of security as well. He was warming up in what looked like a 1997 Tottenham Hotspurs football jersey, so he probably didn't look like a basketball player to the Zalgiris guys, but he's done well so far with 2 baskets early on. But it's been defense so far from Marian, where they've been able to force some tough outside shots for Zalgiris. Have been dealing with the pick and roll well. Maz comes off there. Oh, a beautiful pass through the legs of Jack Nolan on the pick and roll. Beautiful pass, a nutmeg of the defender and an easy layup inside. That's beautiful. Maz, of course, played professionally in Lithuania, and he was a fantastic player who unfortunately injuries kind of cut his career short, but that's a lovely 3 there for Brendan Mullen from outside.
Mullen answers with the 3. Again, the Chapelowskis play is something worth a replay.
Yeah, definitely.
And but you know, excellent execution off the ball screen. A little elevator play here for Chapelowskis as well.
Outside shot, no good, and good job by Marian not allowing any kind of offensive rebounds so far against what is a bigger Zalgiris team, slightly bigger it looks like. They certainly have size that the other 3 semi-finalists don't quite have, but Marian have done a good job so far. They're moving the ball. There's Jack Nolan at the high post. He's looking, finds Brendan Nolan, head fake, and he draws a foul there from Maz.
Marian running a patient flex offense there. A lot of different looks, taking their time.
A lot of these guys, both teams are quite experienced, but this Marian team came just short last year, so it'll be something that they're looking to go one further. Mike Higgins here on the ball would have played Super League with the team last year. He's a fantastic shooter from the outside, so he'll be someone that Marian will be looking to a lot to try and get going. What you tend to find, and it was the same with that Demons team earlier on, Pat, is that with some of these clubs that, like ourselves, who have Super League teams, there's some of the guys, there's Mike Higgins blocked for 3. Mark Ryan gets the ball back. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Jack Nolan doesn't want that shot. Shane Egan has it for, I don't know if he sees the clock. It's a long range 3 on the buzzer. The shot clock, no good. Fully misses. Zalgiris get the ball, but what I was just saying there, Pat, is that some of these guys have the talent to be on Super League squads, but maybe it's a case that it's not the commitment level, it's just the time and travel, it's not possible. As you see Maz there with a beautiful pull-up jump shot.
Well, Chapelowskis looking in rhythms. He's a terrific passer, by the way.
Yeah,
he's really facilitating things. I'd say Marian are going to want to start paying a bit more attention to Chapelowskis.
Yeah, definitely.
He's starting to pull the strings here.
Yeah, he has that kind of superior basketball brain, and he's showing it so far. One thing that Marian may want to try and do is keep attacking him in this pick and roll situation. See if they can draw that second foul, because he is a big player, but he's starting to, oh, there's an uncharacteristic turnover.
Just a little miscommunication.
Yeah, he just missed Trukowskis there, who himself also played on that Dublin Inter team at Super League level a couple of years ago. A very tough player. That's the sort of player that most people don't like playing against. Zalgiris have done a good job kind of upping their defensive intensity now after the first couple of minutes. They're getting hands on passes, not allowing easy looks. And even within that kind of flex offense, you can see when Jack Nolan's catching the ball up at the three-point line, he's not looking at the basket, and Zalgiris aren't paying attention to him, so maybe he doesn't need to come out quite as far. That's a nice steal and potential, nice fast break layup there. Excellent job by Zalgiris.
Idicus got into the passing lane. He saw that coming long before the ball was inbounded.
Yep.
He mapped out that passing lane.
Shane Egan looks to probe, nothing there. Jack Nolan there looks to swing the ball. Tough inside pass. It looks like It looked like there was a slight defection, but nothing there. And UCD Marian are going to call a timeout to try and calm things down here. It's a 3-point lead with 3:28 to go in the first quarter. And we're back. Zalgiris trail by 3 here with 3:20 to go in the first quarter. What are you looking for here, Pat?
Well, after any timeout, you want to see who's coming out with a plan. You know, is it a defensive strategy? Is it a specific ATO, you know, play? What kind of after timeout plays they have set?
There's a sub into the game. David Drum is in. Of course, David's brother Barry was on the Super League team last night. He had a great game, 14 points.
Barry Drum played terrific last night. Kept the team poised, and he hit a few dagger threes down the stretch when it really opened up the game.
Yeah, definitely. It was an excellent job by Barry as UCD Marian booked their place in the Super League Cup final, where they'll face Temple Oak. That's a nice baseline screen for Shane Egan. He doesn't hit. Zalgiris with the rebound, and they now push the ball down in transition. It'll be interesting to see here now with Maz has come out of the game, so primary ball handling. Who's going to run a lot of the pick and rolls? That's a long range 3, and he hits it. A long range contested 3-pointer, and it's good, and the score is now tied.
Kasparevic with the open 3 again. Poor closeout though, and Kasparevic had no difficulty there. There was no one there to really contest it.
I believe he scored 8 or 9 3-pointers against Marian last season in a Dublin League game. So he's clearly a player. That's a nice give and go and a nice finish inside. Excellent work by Zalgiris as they open up a 2-point lead to the delight of their traveling fans.
Lekevicius streaking to the basket.
Yeah, it was really nice. There's been some nice basketball by Zalgiris as they've settled into this game. Jack Nolan with a long range 2. That's a really big shot for him. If he can consistently knock down that shot, it opens up things a lot more for UCD Marian.
That looks to be a guy knowing his range. You know, 2 or 3 times he extended a bit further out on the perimeter, knew enough not to take it. Knowing your shot is a critical piece.
Good job there on defense as well. Brendan Mullen pulls up. He looks at the 3, doesn't get it. Jack Nolan reverses it to Davy Drum, looks inside, but there's a bit of length there in the Zalgiris defense, and they were able to knock the ball out of bounds, and it's going to be a baseline inbounds here for Marian.
A few more rotations now for Zalgiris. They're using their bench pretty well. We've a level game here with 1:11 remaining in the first. Zalgiris getting their hands on more passes, but they were penalized early. They tend to come out of their defensive stance, and the referees are going to blow that whistle anytime there's a bump.
Good penetration around the back pass. Long range 3-pointer from the corner, no good. Offensive rebound is there, but Marian do a good job, and now they push the ball back in transition, find Shane Egan on the side. Seemed to be a lot of contact, but no call there. And a foul is called in the ensuing kind of scramble there. Looked like there was, from my UCD Marian point of view, Pat, looked like there was a bit of contact there, but no call.
Well, I don't know if you'd need a Marian hat on to recognize that one.
I'm trying my best to keep my biasness out of this as much as possible, but I have no doubt that as we go down the stretch, this is going to become like, oh, there's another long-range three. Again, that's the shooter that we've talked about.
Kasparevich just again, now he's in a rhythm. When you're pulling up for threes off the dribble, you know you're feeling it.
I remember I commentated on the final that they were in 2 years ago with Tralee, and I had asked John Young, who coaches Marian, who I needed to look out for, and he had said that he was the one to watch out for. And that day, I think he shot 0 for 12 in the final from 3, and he's the sort of player you can see that when he starts hitting them, he starts getting confidence. And
are you saying you had a direct impact on the 0 for 12?
yeah, definitely. But it's going to be a concern for Marian now that he's hit too early. Good defense there by the air horn in the Zalgiris crowd as Mark Ryan misses the first. We've got 8.9 seconds to go left in this first quarter. 3-point game. Mark has a shot to bring it back to 2, misses. Well, Jack Nolan keeps it alive. The ball swung to Brendan Mullen. He has a runner on the buzzer, no good. And that's the end of the first quarter with Zalgiris leading by 18 points to 15. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to this second quarter. Zalgiris lead by 3 points. Good defensive pressure there. Nice ball movement though. A reach-in foul at the end by Shane Egan, and a lovely opportunity here for a 3-point play.
But Kevich just kind of got down to the heart of the Marian zone. Marian came out of in the quarter in a 2-3. But it didn't take much to get down the gut. And Bukevich finishes with a traditional 3-point play.
Yeah, good job there, and they've opened up a 6-point lead.
They took a little while getting into the rhythm, the Leixlip squad, but they with a minute left in the first, they edged ahead now, and now their lead is extended out to 6.
That's a tough shot. Their defense has definitely stepped up as well. That's a nice take. Oh, that's a beautiful take all the way to the basket by Brendan Mullen.
Lovely finish by Mullen at high speed.
He's had 2 really nice finishes now around the basket. He's showing that he's quite a good player. Ball swung. Again, Marian are reaching at the end, which is something that they don't need to do.
But Kevich again with a dribble attack. You know, the common misconception about zones is that you're going to be stuck shooting 3-pointers. And Zalgiris have demonstrated that you make a few passes and you distort the zone a little bit. There's the same gaps that would be there in a man-to-man defense.
Definitely. We got 2 free throws. The first one is good. And the second one is good. Lithuanian fans' path are a little unusual in free throws, where they like to clap along as their own team are shooting free throws. It's something that you don't tend to see in many other places.
Active support.
Yeah.
Active support.
Everyone's mad for a bit of rhythmic clapping anyway, so it's always appreciated. A lot of pressure there on David Jerome. He's looking for an option. Gets it to Mike Higgins on the wing. For Marian, they're really going to need to try and get Mike Higgins going. That's an open shot from the free throw line, and he knocks it down. Mike's a great shooter. And that's 2 points for Marian.
We nearly saw that situation where he didn't believe he was that open.
Yeah. No call there. And then a foul and a reach in there. So often, Pat, when there's kind of no calls around the basket and a bit of contact, there's often a whistle very quickly straight away afterwards. Whether that's the referee kind of thinking in their own head that they've missed the first one and they need to get the second one, or it's a bit of frustration from the team who felt they kind of didn't get the call.
Sure. Again, you become what you allow, and who knows, on 2 or 3 of those drives, maybe they're just setting the guidelines for how much contact they're going to allow.
Yeah, definitely. There's an elevator screen there for Mike Higgins, who's just hit the last shot, but he didn't quite get set there for that one. It's still a 4-point lead. We've 8 minutes to go in this second quarter. It's been quite a balanced game so far, Pat, without either team fully getting the ascendancy. It's a nice take inside, no good. Rebound there for Mark Ryan. Good job there. It's interesting to see how long that Maz will keep himself on the sideline as player coach. He's been kind of sitting for the last 4 or 5 minutes, but during that time is when Zalgiris were kind of pushing forward, so he'll be delighted with that.
Yeah, well, look, he helped create a bit of tempo for them before he checked out, but sometimes, again, one of the challenges in player coach is how long do you sit? Are you tightening up while you're over there?
There's a steal by Zalgiris on the loose ball, captured, and they finish with a fast break layup.
Kasper Evagis on the finishing end of sloppy play.
Yep.
But again, points come in all fashions.
Is that now 8 points for him? Mark Ryan does a good job of getting to the free throw line. Mark has been relatively quiet so far in this game. He started out with that early jump shot in the first possession, but hasn't been that involved since then, and he is definitely one that John Young will want to be heavily involved in. First free throw is good for Mark. Second one no good, and it is Zalgiris ball.
Look, neither team playing, a beautiful brand of basketball just yet, but again, that often comes in cup games. We've talked about that. Cup games aren't pretty.
Yep.
They're results oriented. You're talking about a bit of nerve sometimes. Everybody wants to get to this final, but you see a game like this, it's a 5-point game. So if you're Marian, you want to stay within striking distance.
Yep.
And again, I think we're going to be positioned for I think a better second half. I think the teams are still settling in a little bit.
Definitely, I think it's going to be a tense game. Oftentimes, especially National Cup, these teams probably haven't played in 3 or 4 weeks because with Christmas the break kind of comes and people can kind of be a little bit disjointed. So it can take at least a half for people to get into their rhythm again. That's a good rebound by David Drum there. He looks to push the ball in transition, finds Mike Higgins on the wing. Reverses it to Mark Ryan, who looks to attack off the dribble. That's a good move there by Mark Ryan, and aggressive attacking the basket there, which is what John Young will want to see. That's Zalgiris' third team foul.
Neither team having real difficulty getting the ball into kind of high percentage areas. You know, the foul, the personal foul team count and team counter are going to be growing now for the Leixlip side. They've got three players on 2 fouls already.
First free throw there is good for Mark Ryan. He reduces the gap to just 4 points. And the second one is no good. That's going to be a great job by Jack Nolan. Marian regained the ball. Jack Nolan gets it back, and he's rewarded for keeping the ball alive with an easy 2 inside, and that's going to lead to a timeout for Zalgiris. It's a 2-point game, 25-23. We're back here. Zalgiris leading by 2. 6:30 to go in this first half, in what has been a relatively cagey game so far, as Pat said. The Zalgiris crowd getting into it a little bit more, trying to urge their team forward. That's a nice steal by Mark Ryan. Mark's definitely one of those players that could be on the Super League panel over the next couple of years for Marian. Certainly has the talent to do so. It's a catch and shoot. Tough shot from the perimeter there.
Well, for some of these young players, as you alluded to, this level and the Division I level, you know, could be a proving ground, you know, and just a little bit more experience, and you know, and if they aspire to play Super League level, this is where they're going to get their game experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's there's a lot of talent here, and both these teams play in the Dublin Division I league, which is a very high standard league. Jack Nolan picks up inside, no good. Offensive rebound, no. Zalgiris gain control of it. Push down the court. We haven't seen that much outside shooting so far. There's been a couple of threes on both sides, but we'll see how that develops. Jack Nolan playing defense there. Good defense. The ball swung outside. Long range shot for Zalgiris. No good. Defensive rebound for Shane Egan. He pushes the ball down the court. He somehow the ball slipped out of his hands, it looked, and that's a turnover there. As you said, Pat, it is cagey. Neither team has fully kind of grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. You'll have Maz coming back in here for Zalgiris, a point guard who's going to give that little bit more structure probably. They seem to, without their point guard, have lost a little bit of their kind of the structure that they have been working on. They haven't really been able to generate as good an offense in the last minute or two, certainly. Oh,
agreed. Their rhythm is definitely off, certainly, you know, since about the 7-minute mark. And, you know, if Marian can capitalize here, they can enter the halftime break on the correct side of the scoreboard. But Again,
tough shot there by
yeah,
Shane Egan.
yeah.
And it's a run out here for Zalgiris. The pass is just off. That's the long range shooter though, and it's no good. Marian got away with one there. You could see the panic when they realized who had the ball.
Well, neither team has really. We talked in the previous game about the ability to capitalize on mistakes.
Yeah.
And haven't really seen that as of yet.
It's a miss there by Mark Ryan, leads to a run out, and an unsportsmanlike foul is called against Brendan Mullen.
Tough call.
Yeah.
I thought it was a play on the ball, and you know, again, but
this year I guess it's more of a clear path rule than it's ever been before, and that's what it leads to. But we have a timeout here on the floor. We'll be back in just a moment. First free throw is good there. So just 1 for 2 from the line there. It's a 3-point lead for Zalgiris. We got 3:42 left on the clock. A little bit more structure here into the pick and roll. See how Zalgiris work off that. Tough pass inside. Mike Higgins with the steal. A miss though on the break. Martin Mulligan, who's just checked into the game with the miss. Maz pulls up and uses the backboard beautifully for a lovely bank shot. And again, it's like that, as you said earlier, Pat, it's punishing those kind of mistakes or kind of near misses. It looks like it's going to be 2 in a row here.
Well, you could already see the difference having Chepelauskas on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, he got an extended rest so far, but I don't know how Leixlip's squad can be successful in this game if he doesn't play a big part of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like managing the game as much as possible while he's out of the game. Mike Higgins with a nice shot there for Marian. Marian trail by 5 points here. Last year's semi-final, Marian beat Ballincollig in what could only be described as one of the most disgusting games of basketball I've seen. I think it may have finished about 20-18, I'm not really sure. Good rebound there. Shane Egan pushes the ball in transition. Maz with the interception though, and it looks like it'll lead to a run out. No, Brendan Mullen gets back and steals it. Someone needs to take control here. 2 minutes to go. Mike Higgins, long range 3, and it's good for Marian. That's a big shot for Marian as they get the game back to 2 points. And now we're starting to see this a little bit of turnovers from both sides, and they're starting to be punished a little bit more. And the 2 players that have been punishing on both teams are the guys who have that Super League experience.
Yeah, well, Higgins got his feet set on both shots, and he also has a pretty quick release.
Yeah, he's a great shooter. He hit multiple games last year with numerous 3-pointers. Finds Shane Egan in the corner for three. And that's back-to-back three-pointers for Marian as they take the lead. 31-30. That's a big minute or so for Marian. 1:20 left on the clock in this first half. Zalgiris looked like they were about to take control of the game. They had an opportunity for back-to-back run-outs. They were about to extend the lead out to, I think, 6 or 7. And now Marian have swung the game back to take the lead here. Maz finds inside a little hook shot, no good. Another rebound by Jack Nolan. Rebounds seem to just go wherever Jack stands. He's always been one to just pick up as many as he can.
Well, he's had a big influence on things so far. He's always around the ball.
He keeps it alive there twice, and another offensive rebound and a layup inside. That's a great job for Marian as they take a 3-point lead. 40 seconds to go in this first half. This will be a big offense here for Zalgiris, as UCD Marian will likely have one more offense. Maz pulls up for three, no good. Brendan Mullen with the rebound. Let's see. Barry Drum on the Marian sideline is telling Brendan, look, we only need one shot. There's 15 seconds on the shot clock. There's about 3 seconds difference, so Zalgiris will likely get the ball back. Brendan Mullins, there's a reach-in foul. It's a poor foul to give up, though, Pat, because there's 11 seconds left on the shot clock. All right, there was going to be Zalgiris were going to get the ball back no matter what. That is now taking them to team fouls. Oh no, apologies. There's a mistake on the scoreboard. It is team fouls. So Marian are shooting 2 free throws. Brendan Mullen hits the first. The Zalgiris crowd aren't impressed because the scoreboard here is showing that they only have 3 team fouls, but the table does have the team foul marker up. So Brendan Mullen has a chance to extend the lead to 5. We have 11 seconds left on the clock. He does. 11 seconds left on the clock. Brendan Mullen checks out. He has 2 fouls, so they don't want him to pick up another foul. 11 seconds for Zalgiris to try and get a score here to finish the half and reduce the game. That's a foul called on Shane Egan. Marian are not in team fouls, so that means that Zalgiris will get the ball back from the sideline. 7.9 seconds left on the clock. What are you looking for here, Pat?
Well, in this situation, a clean screen and make sure you get the last shot off. Don't leave time for the other team to get a shot off.
If you're Marian, you certainly don't want to let Maz be the one to shoot it, and he does. It's a long-range 3, no good. Jack Nolan with the ball. Mike Higgins with a running hook shot from the halfway line. Ambitious at best, but Marian lead 35 points to 30 at the half. Myself and Pat will be back in about 10 minutes' time. Welcome back to the second half here in the Mardyke Arena. UCD Marian lead by 5 after a strong end to that second quarter. Marian's defense has been quite impressive so far, Pat. They've been able to limit Zalgiris to 30 points. Saplauskas there with a 3-point attempt, no good.
Well, the storyline in the first half involved Chapelauskas' influence for the Zalgiris side, and I think probably the combination of Michael Higgins shooting and Patrick Nolan's presence around the basket. He just, again, one of those guys, got his hands on a lot of ball, just made a lot of things happen for his team, created second chance opportunities. And Damilevic there with the pull-up three-pointer from the right wing, tightening the game up now. It's down to a 2-point lead for Marian.
Yeah, big 3-point shot there by Zalgiris. This is going to be an interesting, that's a nice little pass inside, and Ryan draws the foul, but Brendan Mullen, doing a good job of driving baseline, finding his teammate inside with a nice little pass. I've been impressed by him so far, Paddy. Looks like a good point guard. Clearly he had played underage international with Scotland, as we mentioned, but yeah, he's looked very good so far. Mark Ryan hits the first.
Yeah, well, we'll look for here now, right? Halftime adjustments.
Yep.
You know, who went in and you know, looked at things either from a statistical point of view or a rhythm point of view, and said, here's some changes we need to make. And in a close game, that could be all the difference, that halftime adjustment.
Definitely. I can guarantee you that John Young did not look at any statistics and did not look to make any adjustments. He probably just tried to share the Jaffa cakes with the lads and enjoy a quick chat.
You're saying he creates a comfortable environment.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know.
Players are at ease.
I'm only giving him grief. He's doing a good job. There's another big three by Zalgiris. That's their second 3-pointer of this second half, and it's a 1-point game. John's brother Patrick is watching this stream over in London, and that's part of the reason that I've had to give John a little bit of grief. Paddy's been on. He's been asking for more Boom Goes to Dynamite. He's a big fan of Oisin Langan's Boom Goes to Dynamite from last night.
Well, there's plenty of dynamite went off in the first half last night.
It was a bit of a shootout in that first half. Nice move by Mark Ryan. He finishes inside. He gets a little warning for Martin McGettrick to not touch the ball after it goes through the basket.
Fine piece of refereeing there.
It's one of those ones that warning always, I don't know when I last actually saw someone get a technical for hitting the ball after. It's one of those things that referees like to do, but you never really see it actually lead to. Sure.
It's the equivalent of the low blow in boxing. How many are you going to let happen before you take a point away?
That's another rebound by Jack. Shane Egan pushed the ball. Mike Higgins open for 3. No good. That's a good look for Mike. We'll be looking to see who kind of takes control of this game here in the next couple of minutes. Good ball movement. Another 3 for Zalgiris. No good. And Mark Ryan does a good job of getting the rebound there. Both teams are shooting a few more 3-pointers to start this second half.
Well, Chapelauskas does such a good job setting the table for his team, doesn't he? You know, he knows enough to make the extra pass. He knows where the open man is.
Mark Ryan, no good inside. The crowd here getting into it a little bit more. Saplauskas attacks off the dribble. Nice little pass, picked off, and he just can't find his teammate. Yeah. He's a little bit frustrated there. He wanted his big man to cut. Again,
but he got caught in the air, you know, and you know, it's funny. Gravity doesn't change. You're going to come down, and it's difficult. You have to have that mind, man. If you're going to pass off the jump, you got to know it prior.
If in doubt, blame the big man is always the motto, though. Nice move inside by Shane Egan. A nice little floater for Shane, and Marian have got their 5-point lead back there. Zalgiris have, of course, hit those 2 3-pointers to start the second half, but Marian are doing a good job, particularly inside. They're not giving. There's I'm going to jinx them now, but no, there's another stop. There are some big bodies there for Zalgiris, but nice take. Looked like it could have been an offensive foul. Marian end up turning the ball over. Frustrating there for Mullen. He has 2 fouls though, so considering that could have been an offensive foul in his 3rd foul, I'm pretty sure that Marian will take that turnover and be happy that it didn't lead to anything worse. Another long range 3, good for Zalgiris.
Timeout again, his 3rd 3 in this quarter. Yeah. So he's developed a hot hand, and he's not going to.
Nice long range pass there, and a foul called. Again, it's Saplauskas' ability just to keep his head up and find the long range pass. He doesn't. He's staying in his own half. Off camera there. I think he's just conserving energy rather than bothering walking up to the other half of the court though. I'm a fan of doing that these days myself. First free throw is no good. He needs to dribble back out to the 3-point line where he's a little bit more comfortable.
Kasparevich, another deep threat,
and
but
he misses both.
Surprisingly, oh, there's a great hustle play now. That's a great hustle play. Let's see if it results in a basket here.
And an offensive foul called. He put the ball on the floor, looked to drive baseline. Mark Ryan did a good job of getting position, and the player had nowhere to go, so tried to create a bit of separation with his arm and gets called for an offensive foul. 5:25 to go in this 3rd quarter. Brendan Mullen looks to get inside. Nice take again, and a nice finish inside. That's a really nice take to the basket by the Scottish point guard.
Lovely finish. He's had 2 or 3 of those now where he just kind of knifes through the defense.
Yeah, he gathers the ball really nicely as he attacks the basket. He protects the ball well, which you like to see with a good guard. Ball goes inside. A nice take, and he's earned himself a trip to the free throw line. Tomaskauskas. Despite the big bodies that they haven't had a huge amount of success in kind of scoring through the post. It's more being kind of out of good passes from pick and rolls, or else out on the 3-point line. Marian have done a good job. Jack Nolan has that big body, he's able to, and Mark Ryan's done a good job defensively.
Well, the Marian forwards are just, their feet are moving quicker. Basically, they're not getting a lot of great looks from their forwards thus far. And I'm looking to see, this will be interesting now to see the Leixlip squad, a bit more age on them. Yeah. And we'll see if fitness becomes a factor.
It looks like we also have an injury on the court there. Adjukas has moved to the bench and he's gone down, lying on the floor. It looks like I don't know if he banged knees with somebody, but he's certainly down on the ground holding that knee, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. He does look like he's very uncomfortable anyway. Brendan Mullen, step back, nothing there. Mark Ryan looked like he was going to settle for a 3. Runs into trouble. A good steal there by Zalgiris. They find the hot hand. Good extra pass. Miss inside. And nothing inside there, and the ball comes back out to on the baseline for Zalgiris. 4:24 to go in this 3rd quarter. A 3-point game. Looks like we're going to be going down to the wire here, Pat. Neither team. Good inbound play. Long range 3-pointer from the shooter that they wanted to get open. It looked like he didn't have his feet set, but he actually has a kind of a strange sense when he shoots the ball anyway, and that was a big shot. Shane Egan tries to respond in kind, but doesn't hit, and it's a tied game here.
Kasparevich just again light on his feet. There's a heady play there now. Heady play. Save the ball, save possession.
So 4 3-pointers have been the story of this 3rd quarter for the Leixlip side. Another long-range three, short that time. Jack Nolan tries to get the outlet pass. He does. Brendan Mullen has the ball. We're going to have a high pick and roll here. Maz goes under. Tries to find Mark Ryan at the free throw line. David Drum has the ball on the perimeter. Pulls up for three. Just short. Rebound there again by Jack. He's caught in the corner and he's bailed out by a foul there for the defense. They're the sort of fouls that you don't really want to be giving up, where the player clearly isn't going anywhere, Pat.
No, they're empty. There's a little bit of Shane McCarthy in Jack. You know, there's his activity levels around the basket slightly. You know, these savvy moves.
Yep.
But a nose for the ball. And you know, they're the kind of guys that the little things initiate rallies.
Yeah, definitely. He's a doctor by profession. And a foul inside there, and that's another poor foul, especially as Zalgiris were just in team fouls there. They had just gone over the limit, so for a reach-in foul like that to send Mark Ryan back to the free throw line is a poor decision by a very experienced player. First one's good for Mark Ryan, who is one of Marian's leading scorers, and he hasn't been able to get a huge amount from the field, but he's been able to get to the free throw line multiple times, and he hits both free throws there as Marian regain a 2-point lead. He's gotten used to the air horn path that it got him the first time, but he's been able to knock down his free throws since then. And an offensive foul is called against the Leixlip team. Pat, there's something special about the way that Eastern European and Lithuanian people in general approach the game of basketball, and the fans, the way that they interact in those, like the EuroLeague atmospheres, is something incredible, isn't it?
Oh, it's passion, really, you know, and it's something that it's very personal for them,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and you know, we can talk about basketball identity.
If anyone has YouTube open, when we go to the end of this third quarter, open up another tab and look for the Gate 13. I think it's the Panathinaikos basketball fans, and you'll see something pretty incredible. Some of those fans are just it's part of their life.
Yes. Thankfully, they have banned flares from the Mardyke Arena.
Some of the places they when the game tips off, they just throw as much toilet paper onto the court as possible, and they have to just clear the court. And a lot of those gyms also have the kind of plastic covering over the benches so that they can't throw the lighters at the players when they're sitting on the benches. Shane Egan does a good job hitting 2 free throws. The lead is back to 4 for Marian. It's kind of been a 4 or 5 for a lot of this quarter. Each time that Zalgiris do a good job of trying to get it back, Marian have found a basket somewhere. They'll be pretty happy that despite giving up those 4 3-pointers, here's another 3, and then that's 5 3-pointers so far in this quarter.
Well, Chapelauskas again continues to be a thorn in the Marian side.
Peter Mitchell here has checked into the game. He was looking to see if he could attack. Nothing there. David Drum swings the ball to Brendan Mullen, who tries to respond with a 3 of his own. No good. It's long.
Well, we'll remind our viewers, you know, these two teams played in the Dublin League recently, with Marian coming out a 6-point victor. So there's not going to be much between these teams coming down the stretch.
That's a tough shot there. Brendan Mullen looks to attack. Finds Peter Mitchell inside, who misses the layup, unfortunately. So Leixlip push the ball down. David Drum does a good job of getting back in front of the shooter. They're going to need to keep a hand up on him there. That's a nice little dribble move and a nice shot as Leixlip take back the lead 48-47. We've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this third quarter.
Well, Damian Levigis has made some great contributions here in the third quarter.
Shane Egan for 3, no good. Yeah, he's certainly been a big factor in this third quarter. 3-point shooting is definitely part of the Leixlip game. That's a tough shot. And he he buries his head in his jersey and then asks for a sub. So he's apologizing to his teammates.
He almost wanted to apologize too much. He nearly took himself out of the game there.
He asked for a sub. And
he was so upset with himself, he asked for a sub. But then I think reason took over and reminded himself we're in a cup semifinal here.
Yeah. Shane Egan with a tough move inside, and he draws a foul. This has been interesting for the last couple of minutes. Marian aren't actually getting that many field goals, but they've been able to get to the free throw line, which is what's really been able to keep them right here.
Well, you contrast the way that they were drawing fouls between halves, right? In the first half, in the first half, they a number of fouls on the perimeter.
We've just got a timeout here on the floor, so we'll be back to you in 1 minute. Shane Egan heads to the free throw line here. 2 shots to try and regain the lead here for UCD Marian.
Well, just before the break, we were saying, you know, the fouls in the third quarter against Zalgiris are resulting this time in free throws. You know, they had a lot of fouls in the first half, mostly blocking fouls when they're defending drives on the perimeter. But now Marian a little bit more aggressive, getting to the rim.
Yeah, and the other part of it, Pat, was that there's a couple of cheap early fouls that they can often, it doesn't seem too bad early on, but then all of a sudden you find that you have to play 4 or 5 minutes of a quarter in team fouls, and that can be a big deal. Last night Calesta shot 24 free throws against us. They were 22 for 24 from the line, which was exactly that. We got kind of sloppy and reached a couple of times and then ended up in team fouls, and Kieran Rowe put us under a lot of pressure. And if you end up having to play a couple of minutes like that, it can become a bit of a parade to the free throw line.
Well, absolutely, and you look at the snowball effect of fouls, right? Zalgiris with 3 guys on 3 fouls, so it stands to reason that they're not going to foul you as they're dribbling, so guys are going to get closer to the rim, and the fouls are going to happen at the rim. Yep.
Peter Mitchell here with the ball on the wing, looks to attack the basket. He kicks the ball out to the Mike Higgins for 3, and he hits the top corner of the backboard. Zalgiris with a fast break layup and alley-oop, and he misses. 10 seconds to go in this third quarter. Marian have the ball with a 1-point lead. David Drum almost trips himself up. Gets the ball to Shane Egan. 3 seconds. We've got 1.6 seconds left on the clock here. Marian ball from the sideline. Marian have a 1-point lead. We'll see what they go for from this timeout. They'll probably be looking to get Mike Higgins open if they can. And a foul is called. Interesting. A foul off the ball is called, a holding foul, which is got to be very frustrating for Leixlip there, because what could have been a tough contested shot with 1 second to go leads to Marian's best shooter heading to the free throw line, trying to open up a 3-point lead if he can knock these 2 free throws down.
Yeah, well, look, Higgins was trying to come off the screen, and I think it was a great call. There was a lot of grabbing as he was trying to come through those screens.
First one's good for Mike. Again, we have 1.6 seconds left on the clock here. Mike with the second, he hits both, so Marian have a 3-point lead. Ball inbounded halfway line, shot off the backboard, but it's no good. And Marian take a 3-point lead into the fourth quarter, and we'll be back to you in 1 minute's time. Welcome back. We've got 1 quarter of basketball to go here in the NICC men's semi-final. The winner of this game will face UCC Demons in the Hula Hoops Cup final on the weekend of the 27th and 28th of January up in the National Basketball Arena in Tala. There's been, I think, 20 cup semi-finals this weekend, Pat, and this is the last game here in the Mardyke. There's one currently going on in Neptune at the same time. But it's been a fantastic weekend of basketball. Interesting, big no call there on the baseline. Big collision there on the baseline. Jack put his body on the line. He got a fair thumping, but he seemed to enjoy it.
That was like driving into a ditch right there. There was no getting by him.
Brendan Mullen, drove to the basket again. Couldn't finish that time. Back down there by the big man, and again, no good. It's really been one of the things that John Young will be very happy with the two big guys inside for Marian, Mark Ryan and Jack Nolan. They've done a fantastic job defensively, limiting the Zalgiris players inside.
I'm looking here, both Nolan and Buckhetovich are both hurting after that collision now. They're
another fast break layup though for Zalgiris. It's been something that Marian really need to watch out for, because guys are leaking out for the Leixlip team, and they need to do a better job of having a little bit of balance on the floor. That's a tough drive to the basket. Blocked out of bounds. Marian still lead by 1.
Strong drive by Mulligan, but he was met by a lot of big bodies.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, a high degree of difficulty.
Especially going to his left, it's going to be a difficult one. Back screen there, and they find Mark Ryan open underneath the basket for a layup. A nice inbounds from Marian there, and they open back up a 3-point lead. The big question, I think, Pat, will be how many threes Zalgiris will hit in this fourth quarter. There's a long one from Maz straight away, and the crowd go wild.
Chapelowskis absolutely been the most influential player out here today.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big shot there. It'll be a case of, I think it could be, that's a tough move by Mark, doesn't get it. Jack Nolan gets another offensive rebound and heads to the free throw line. I would guess that he's on maybe 15 rebounds or so. He seems to have picked up a lot. But yeah, it's going to be a matter of, I think, what's the magic number in terms of threes in this fourth quarter for Leixlip? It's probably 3 or 4 and they win the game, maybe?
Well, you know, it's almost coming as a default offense, because they're really not getting many scores on post-up moves or entry passes to the post. Now, that's also a credit to Marian's interior defense, but it's really been breakout layups and three-pointers.
Yeah, definitely, you're right. And on the other end, Marian are certainly making a living at the free throw line. But it'll be interesting to see how Marian defend this pick and roll. They're gone over it there. They had gone under the previous one with Maz, and he had knocked it down. So they need to make sure that they keep a hand up on him, make him shoot over. A nice take, and finally, big guy steps to the basket. A nice finish inside.
Well, that was desperately needed for them. Again, back on that last point, they need to get some interior scores because
yeah,
you know, there's a reason they give you 3. It's
yep.
a lower percentage shot.
Yep, live by the 3, die by the 3 is one of those big things. But again, another foul there early on for Leixlip. That's 2 team fouls here. 7:40 to go in the fourth quarter. It could become a big factor that the fouls are lighting up on their side of the scoreboard. And another foul there. These are the sort of fouls that are going to be frustrating. Maz is there telling Saplauskas, the player coach, telling his teammates, look, guys, we can't afford these sort of fouls at this stage.
Well, the foul count, 21 fouls against BC Leixlip and 7 for Marian, team fouls. So that can't bode well down the stretch, really, in terms of what you're allowed to do defensively, your need to give fouls, the number of times you're putting Marian on the free throw line. Another breakout layup here.
That's a big block on one end and a breakout layup there. Poor job by Marian with defensive transition there. They fell asleep, and occasionally Marian have a habit of watching the player go to the basket, watching their teammate go to the basket rather than actually getting back. Another fast break. Marian regained the ball though. Mike Higgins with the ball here on the perimeter. He finds Jack Nolan. Jack goes to give the ball inside. Mark Ryan with it. Regains possession. That was a sloppy offense. No one could really grab the ball, but in the end, Mark Ryan is heading back to the free throw line, and most importantly, that's now team fouls for Zalgiris.
I tell you, this hasn't always been pretty, but it's been fun.
Yeah,
I love the enthusiasm on the Leixlip side. They're very, very, you know, I don't want to say they're living and dying with every play, but they're a very excitable group.
Yeah, they're certainly emotionally invested in it, and Mark Ryan is going to head back to the free throw line here, and 6:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Team fouls for the last 6:40 could be a big factor in this. Currently, Zalgiris lead by 2 points. We'll be back shortly. Mark Ryan here with the first of 2 free throws. Short on the first. Marian have actually been quite good from the free throw line. They've been punishing Zalgiris every time they do get there, but Mark tries to reduce the lead to just 1, and he hits the second. So it's a 1-point game, 6:40 to go here. And this is the final quarter, to see who will face UCC Demons in the NICC Hula Hoops Cup final on the weekend of the 27th and 28th of January. Another big 3-pointer.
That by design coming out of the timeout. They run the dribble handoff on repeatedly to eventually get the defense to sag in.
Yeah, it's a nice job.
And Damilevic just, again, with his 4th three-pointer in the second half now.
Yeah,
and he read that perfectly.
Yeah, he's been very good. Saplauskas goes to the basket. Steve Nash dribbling around in a circle. Keeps the ball alive. Has an opportunity to pull up for 2. And the friendly roll. That's a big basket there. It's a 6-point lead out of nowhere has opened up. Marian need a basket soon. Mark Ryan looks to attack the basket, and he's blocked inside, and we have a transition. And no call. Martin McGetrick decided there was no foul there. Zalgiris have regained possession anyway. With teams like this, Pat, it's particularly three-point shooting teams, they can often, when they hit one or two, they can start, everyone on the team starts feeling it, and there seems to be momentum going the way of the Leixlip team right now.
Well, and it has the feel of a home game right now for the Leixlip squad.
Yeah.
They've got a very vocal, active fan base that have traveled down and from around the country to see them.
Yep.
And they're gaining momentum at a critical juncture in the game here.
Yeah, definitely. Marian need a score there. One thing that Marian will be pretty happy with on that last defense there was that the ball went back inside and it led to an offensive foul. It's like Marian are struggling to deal with the guards, but Mike Higgins with a pump. Nice finish inside from the man from Balnadreen.
Well, what I'm going to be watching out for here now with Marian, their lack of fouling may end up working against them here if they don't actually give a few here soon.
Oh, a miss by Sablauskas, but a great rebound on the inside and an M1 opportunity. That's a huge score inside. When you've done a great job on the big guys all game, that's one that kind of is going to hurt. It's currently a 6-point game, a chance to be a 7-point game, which will be Leixlip's biggest lead of the game so far, and they've taken it at a crucial time here.
Sure. Now, Marian, look, they have no individuals in foul trouble. Their team is not in foul trouble. They could be more aggressive on the perimeter.
Yep.
And even if they give a few, they're going to need to, because they're going to have to put these guys on the line soon if they're trailing by 7 with a minute or 2 left.
Yep. The defensive intensity is picked up from the Zalgiris team as well. Tough shot again for Marian. There's definitely, Leixlip have their tails up here. They have a sense that this is a big moment in the game. Saplauskas, good defense there. A head fake and a long three, no good. Marian get the ball here. A timeout is coming for Marian. John Young is going to have to put together something here for a crucial score if Marian are going to get back into this game. 4:20 to go and Zalgiris lead by 7 points. Okay, big offense here for Marian. 4:20 to go. John Young shouting at his team, don't force anything, have patience. Shane Egan pulls up from the free throw line. A decent look there for Marian, but he didn't knock it down. Here's where having a former pro as a point guard is critical. He's able to just manage the pace of the game so well. That's a huge three. And he does the airplane back down the court in celebration. But that was a mistake there by Shane Egan. I think that he helped off the shooter. He helped off the shooter to try and help the big man, and the guys have been doing a good job on the big man inside, so there's no need to do that. Nice pass inside, 2 free throws, but let's see, Pat, is this almost out of reach for Marian? 3:26 to go, 10-point game. Have they got enough offense that they'll be able to get back to
Well, look, it's a 4-possession game now. So not only do you need to score on 4, you need to make 4 stops.
Yep.
So
and they've been struggling to get those stops in the second half so far.
And look, we spoke in the earlier game about the importance of scoring when the clock is stopped.
Yep.
That's the way you cut into a lead late in the game. You make that clock stop and you reward yourself by hitting your free throws.
First one no good for Mark Ryan. Second one coming here, and he hits it. So 9-point game, 3:25 on the clock. Momentum certainly with the Leixlip team. Saplauskas gets all the way to the basket, no good. Mark Ryan gets the ball. Brendan Mullen pushes it. Big opportunity here. Shane Egan, head fake, gets all the way to the middle. Tough floater, no good, out of bounds, and it is Zalgiris ball. 9-point game, 3:02 on the clock.
Well, at this stage, really, you look at Marian's main scorers have been Higgins and Ryan, and they're going to need touches here down the stretch.
Yeah. You have to find a way to get them open looks. Ultimately, Marian are likely going to need at least 1 3-pointer from Mike Higgins if they're going to get back into this. Good patience from Zalgiris. Saplauskas gets the ball inside. That's a shot clock violation, but that's not the worst offense for Zalgiris at this time, because that's 24 seconds gone on the clock there. Marian had to inbound the ball. They have their defensive set, so Marian are probably taking a little bit too long kind of getting into their offense here. Mike Higgins finds Mark Ryan at the elbow for 2. He hits. 7-point game. Marian are extending up their defense, trying to push up the floor, but as you said, they haven't fouled enough so far. They only have 1 team foul, so they really need to extend their defense, take a couple of risks here. They can't afford to allow Leixlip to run out too much of the clock, which they are doing here. And that's not the way you want it. That's smart by Saplauskas. He forces his way to the basket, draws the foul, and the last thing you want to do is send him to the free throw line. If you're Marian, a great shooter, likely to extend the lead back out to 9.
Well, again, we mentioned the importance of, it's a time and score and knowing the situation, special situations. How many fouls do we need to give?
Yeah. First one's good. Sorry, that's a mistake on the scoreboard, which you just correct. The score is 69-61. Second one, good. 2 pure free throws there from Saplauskas. Marian have a big deficit here, 9 points to try and regain over the last couple of minutes. Elevator play, Mike Higgins. Zalgiris do a good job of defending it. That was an exhausting offense to watch. By the time he actually got the shot off, he must have been wrecked. So here's a big stop for our big offense here. A nice take all the way to the basket. Marian get the roll though. They need to get a quick shot here.
Yeah, their offense needs to be downhill. They've got to get to the rim here.
Okay, good job by Brendan Mullen there. He will head to the free throw line. He needs to hit these 2. 1:18 on the clock. Marian will have to extend their defense, but Pat, if you're Marian, how long do you wait before you start fouling? Do you try and trap, or what are you looking to do?
45 seconds ago. They again, the clock is against them, and again, by the time they put Zalgiris in the bonus, we're going to be down under a minute here, the number of times that they need to foul.
And Marian trying to urge their teammates to get it's a foul by Shane Egan underneath the basket. Well,
again, you had the shot clock down to 10 at that stage. If you're going to foul, you foul at about 23 or 22.
One of the big things that they need to figure out a way to do is to extend out their defense to get the ball out of Saplauskas' hands, so then they can try and foul. But even if they did that right now, they're only entering into the team fouls now, so they kind of needed to do that a little bit earlier. And when you see a free throw like that, you almost need to go to a hack-a-shack tactic. So it's get the ball out of the guard's hands and make these Zalgiris big men finish the game from the free throw line. He hits the second one well.
Well, look, an awful lot can happen in a minute.
Yep.
Particularly in a stop time sport.
Oh, that's a big turnover, and then another foul there.
Well, if you had to point to something here now, you look at the way that the Leixlip squad came out after halftime, and really just upped everything. They had a little bit more fluid offense. Three guys were really just started to knock shots down, and the three-point shooting in the third quarter opened this game up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right, and their defense, the intensity upped. They, as we were just saying off air there, they had 5 fouls each, and they were willing to use them. That there's 1, 2, 3, 4 players on 4 fouls, and another 3 with 3 fouls. So they've really got their money's worth there. Saplauskas hits the first. He's certainly been an excellent player here. He's going to be probably one of the deciding factors of getting Leixlip this win. What looks like it will be a win.
Well, the second make there, pushes it to 10, so it's now a 4-possession game.
And the rebound there, it looks like that could be it. Another foul by Marian, and this is likely the game gone for Marian, and it looks like Leixlip will be heading back to the NICC final, which they played again 2 years ago against St. Brendan's, I think it was at the time, which is effectively the start of what is now the Tralee Warriors team with Kieran Donaghy. Pat, from the 2 semi-finals that you've watched today, what sort of final do you expect to see?
Well, I think Demons are going to, have a very real matchup on their hands. Again, will the occasion stand to Demons in terms of their level of experience? One thing Demons would need to contend with is the three-point shooting ability, right? The Leixlip squad have 3 very legitimate threats on the perimeter. They don't seem to, have a dominant post setup. But then again, neither do Demons.
Yeah, so Demons had Shane McCarthy and Shane Collum marking all the bigs. Well, there weren't very many bigs today for Dublin Lions, but that'll be a big job that Shane McCarthy can certainly do a great job in there. But it'll be a case of how tired are the 2 Shanes going to be if they're having to battle with those big bodies all game and then have to be able to produce on offense. So that'll be a big factor in it, but it has the potential, the makings of a very good game.
Oh, I'd say so. And you're going to see guys in that game whose role will become bigger than maybe otherwise expected. Like the Carmody, like John Carmody, like young David Lehane. Those guys could actually play a big role in a final like that.
Yeah, definitely. In last year's final, to that point, last year's final, as from a Marian point of view, we're going in saying Shane McCarthy, Shane Collin, Niall O'Reilly, they're the 3 you have to watch out for, and it was actually Ryan Murphy who was fantastic on the day. He was brilliant. I thought Shane actually got MVP, but I thought it was Ryan who probably was the biggest factor. Jack Nolan with another offensive rebound, back out to Shane Egan, no good. Jump ball called, and it'll be Marian ball again, but Marian just haven't been able to hit enough outside shots themselves. Mike Higgins has hit 1 or 2, Brendan Mullen hit 1, I think Shane Egan hit 1, but that's been the extent of what they've been able to do. Yeah,
their offense really seemed to dry up in the fourth quarter. There's a late three by Dr. Jack.
Dr. J. Miss. Hopefully Jack Nolan becomes T-Mac here over the last couple of... Another 3 from Marian, short. Jack Nolan with another offensive rebound. Mark Ryan for 3. Rattles in and out. Off Marian's foot, and with 4.3 seconds to go, the Zalgiris fans are already cheering in the Mardyke Arena down here, and been deserving winners.
Speaking of which, a great shout out here to the Mardyke Arena staff, who have been incredible and accommodating as usual. It's one of Ireland's finest sports facilities, and we're thankful to be here.
Yeah, definitely. The Demons people here and the Mardyke staff themselves have done a fantastic job, and certainly from a Basketball Ireland point of view, it's we're excited to be back down here in June for the small countries and showing kind of European basketball, exactly what Irish basketball is like, and it's a fantastic venue that's going to be perfect for that tournament. But congratulations to Leixlip Zalgiris, who have booked their place in the NICC Hula Hoops Men's Cup Final, where they will face UCC Demons. Pat, thank you for joining me. As we said, our podcast will be out soon, so just make sure you keep tweeting Mary on Basketball Ireland and asking her when it's going to be out so that she can make sure that it happens. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.